Hey friends, I made this YouTube channel initially just to, I made some kind of friends on those Facebook hip groups, and some of them would, or I would offer them that, I'd say that this seems to be helping me, and they'd say, well, how do you do that? And I'd say, okay, well, I'll make a video for you because it's really hard to type out or the explanation anyway. So that's kind of how this channel started, but I've decided to continue to document my progress, and to that end, today is an impromptu video because I've made a discovery that I'd like to share for what it's worth. So I just want to give a summary of my hip pain progression so it's clear what I communicate today. So from May 2015 to probably 2 months ago, I had basically chronic hip pain, like a 9, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 10, all the time. It was hell, and it was really getting me down. I just was not coping after so long of being in so much pain. And then I started consulting that PT in America, and he, like I said, he told me to go on crutches, and then he started me off with glute activation exercises, but every time he tried to get me to do, then after the glute activation exercises, just glute exercises, the pain would increase. And also one of the mobilization exercises he had me do, that aggravated the pain too, and I haven't showed that one because just aggravated the pain. So anyway, and then like I said, I started experimenting on how I could get around trying to do these glute exercises, right, without aggravating the pain. Anyway, and basically just before then, I had an MRA injection, which included a dye, contrast, and an anesthetic, which totally flared up my hip. So I had that on the 31st of March 2016, and just before that, I would say I was on crutches full time. Just before that, before leading up to that injection. And because of the crutches, my pain was quite reduced. I was probably only sitting a 4 as long as I used the crutches. But as soon as I went off the crutches, it'd go back to an 8 or a 9. It was just shit. And then I had the MRA injection, and that took my hip pain to a 15 out of 10. And there was absolutely nothing I could do to relieve the pain. And it was hell on earth, man. And I was just if you can imagine, I was at the end, I was if I was mentally in suffering before, I was just mentally suffering then anyway. But just literally 2 days before the MRA injection, I'd cottoned on to this idea of pulling the femur back off the hip joint to do the glute exercises, right? And I'd had some success just in those 2 days, and then the MRA hit, and that was the shit hit the fan. And then it took me, on day 8, I hired a continuous passive motion machine for a month, and I also set up the stationary bike to work at my computer. So from day 8 after the injection, so I was constantly moving my hip joint, and it took it was 2.5 weeks after the injection that all that pain settled down from the injection, and so I was sleeping in the CPM machine and all that, right? So then after that, I started glute strengthening, because I had made this discovery just before the injection that I could, like I said, pull the femur back off the tear and successfully glute strengthen. So I've been doing that glute strengthening for a month now, and very quickly my pain was reducing, and I would say so before the injection, before I was on crutches, my pain was always, like I said, around a 9 out of 10, even a 10 out of 10. I would say it was just unbearable, such that I just wanted to go to bed, by the afternoon. I mean, it was just shit. I'd get up in the mornings, and 10 minutes after I'd get up, the pain was just crap already. My hip was aching so bad. It was just hell. Anyway, so I was really encouraged, with all the glute exercises that I've shared on this channel to date, very quickly, even after 2 weeks, my hip pain was dropping to like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, right? And that was like totally encouraging to me. And I was off the crutches, okay? And sometimes it was even like only a 4, right? And, but then what happened was, and that was, you know, including those external rotator exercises like the clam on my back, which I'll show you what I'm talking about soon, right? But I just want to say I've got another friend in Australia. His name is Mike. And he has found success with an external rotator exercise. When I do it, I get a lot of pain, like it flares up my hip. And I'm going to show you that exercise because it might help some of you guys, but it flares up my hip personally. But and Mike told me that he can't do some of the exercises I can do without pain. So I guess it depends what kind of labral tear you have, I guess. But anyway. But for the last few days, I got a bit lazy with the glute strengthening, and I was walking around the track with my dogs, doing the banded side steps and some variations of that exercise, which I'm going to share with you in a minute. I was doing the abductor massage using a pipe, and I was doing this glute, kneeling glute thrust, okay, banded glute thrust, and I'll just show you because this kneeling banded glute thrust, this is like my favorite glute max exercise. Like it just works the glute max like nothing else I have found to date, right? And so I'll just show you it again, like I've showed you before. So I've changed the bands that I use. I was using these and they just kept breaking, so I gave them the flick and I bought these bands, but as a result they're longer, and so I have to move out further from the wall. So I've like got all that now, right, just to help me push out. And then I was doing the banded, see, like that, hip thrust, holding my arms up here, but I found because the bands are so long, I'm almost like having to hold onto the wall in front of me like this, right? So this is actually, if you think about it, it's like a horizontal squat, you see? Kind of. But anyway, if I really tighten my glute max, it just works the glute max so much, and I do this to fatigue, and it's great, okay? Back at the end sec. Okay, yeah, and so the other one I've been doing a lot of the last few days is, like I said, walking my dogs around the track and doing variations of this banded side step. So what I found is, like I said, I've been like experimenting, and if I bend my knees and take small steps, right, I was finding that I was activating my glute max a lot more, right? And I was finding if I keep my knees bent and take bigger steps, I'm actually activating my glute medius and my glute max. My glute medius more as well as my glute max, right? If I kept my knees straight, I'm seem to just be activating my glute medius, and then I discovered if I bend my knee as I step, and then as I'm straightening this knee, pull this knee in, okay, and as I bend this knee, drop this knee out, okay, I'm doing like a banded side squats, you see, like this, and I found that this actually seems to work the glute max even more. So then, and then I was doing this where I was pulling my legs out like this to the side, with the objective of seeing if, you know, maybe working the external rotators a bit more, okay, and because before I was just doing this, okay, but this is different. And the other one I've been doing a lot of is like just bending my knees and walking backwards and seeing if I can activate the glute max like this more. Yeah, and I have been doing a lot of this just around track. So when I say banded side step and its variations, I've been doing all these things, okay? Because what I find is it's easy to get the glute med activated, but it's not so easy to get glute max activated. Anyway, so like I said, For the last 3 days, I've only been doing those 3 things: the massaging the adductors, these side steps of variations with the band, and also that hip thrust, right? What I haven't been doing for the last few days is this exercise I'm going to show you now. So, like I said previously, my physical therapist told me it's very important in terms of getting rid of labral tear pain naturally to strengthen the external rotators. So he had me try and do the clam, but it was just aggravating the pain too much. And then, like I said, I found that if I could pull the femur back and while I was doing these kinds of doing like a clam on my back, so to speak, like this, and I'd put this these yoga blocks under my bum to kind of increase the pull of my femur, and do this, I found that I didn't hurt as much, right? And I was playing with the angle of my legs, you know. I was trying the exercise down here and up here, and then I was also bringing my feet out. If I bring my feet out too far, that aggravates the labral tear pain, right? So, you know, just trying to exercise different external rotators by just changing the feet and the angle, okay? But for the last few days I hadn't been doing that exercise, okay? So, now, but even when I was doing this exercise, I was finding that my hip pain doing this exercise was better than not doing any exercises, right? But it was still, like I said, my hip pain was still like, you know, at a 6 or a 5, okay, as opposed to a 9, okay? And I still felt a bit of quite a bit of, I could feel quite a bit of aggravation and a feeling of really bad pain, right? So, okay, now before I get to the point, I just want to show you, an external rotator exercise that my friend Mike showed me, and he said that he tried everything, and with the external rotator exercise that I'm just about to show you, he found for him that this actually greatly improved the pain he was getting from the labral tear, such that he was saying that he was able to walk now without pain, okay? But like I said, for me, I tried this exercise because I think it's one of the best external rotator exercises, but for me, it just aggravated my labral tear pain, like my hip pain, like crazy, okay? But I want to share it with you because I do think it's a good external rotator exercise, okay? Back in a tick. So this is the exercise that Mike said he's had success with, where he attaches like a band, one of these exercise bands, to the leg of a table, and then turn around, and then I use this yoga block to keep my knee from pushing that way, you know, to keep it stable. And then the idea is to externally rotate your foot like this against that resistance of that band. And this is, in my opinion, an excellent external rotator exercise, but like I said, for me, it just aggravated my hip pain quite significantly, right? But like I said, for Mike, it's improved his hip pain heaps. So I thought, okay, this exercise, this was really bad for me, and I thought, okay, maybe if I just stick to the glute strengthening exercises that I do, maybe my muscles around my hip will get stronger, and then as like a phase 2 or phase 3 glute strengthening exercises, I could get to the point where I could do this exercise without aggravating hip pain, okay? Because like I said, I know the PT told me it's very important to strengthen external rotators. Anyway, but, so, for the last few days, so the point is this, for the last few days, I've been lazy. Like I said, I've only been doing these glute max exercises, right, and the adductor massage, right, just the ones that I said I was doing, and I wasn't doing any of the external rotator exercises out like the ones out on that bed, okay? And my hip pain, like, dropped to, I shit you not, like a 1 or maybe a 2, right? It was like heaven. It was heaven. And, like, last night I went to bed overfilled with gratitude and feeling like it was a total miracle that I was able to get my hip pain for the first time in like a year and a half down to a 1, okay? Anyway, so then today I decided to do more of the external rotator exercises, right? And holy crap, I did, you know, my sets of those out on that bed, and I got up, started walking around, and my hip pain went back to like a 6, and it really aggravated the hip. And I thought, shit, like, what's going on here? And so, and I had thought to that point, you know, gee, maybe my body needs all these glute max exercises. It seems to be really reducing my pain heaps. But I'm starting to think it's a combination of all the glute max exercises without the external rotator exercises. Like, for me, I feel like for some reason the external rotator exercises just seem to aggravate the situation. Maybe it's the shape. And I thought, maybe my pelvis is misaligned, and maybe that's accentuating pain, like the misalignment's aggravating the way the muscles are rubbing up against a tear or whatever. So I checked my pelvic alignment, and it looked pretty good, actually. So it wasn't that, you know, that was increasing the pain. So, like, what a total insight. And so for me now, but like, I'm so grateful that, like I said, I suddenly was able, even just for a few days, to get my pain down to a 1. Like, it was just amazing. And so, and like I said, but I know I have to get these external rotate exercises in to get long-term stability in my hip. I need to work all my muscles. So for me now, the objective is, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm maybe going to try to reduce maybe the resistance of the band that I use to do the external rotator exercises, continue to try and find a way to do external rotator exercises without aggravating the hip, or just stick to the banded side steps and the banded squats and the variations, you know, the walking backwards with a band, and stick to the glute max exercises, and maybe get my glutes so strong that I feel like I can't get them any stronger doing those exercises, and maybe that will support my muscles, the hip more when I go to try to do more external rotator exercises, if you know what I mean. You see, because I have seen one lady, she wanted to progress, she had surgery with Philippon, and she's been doing heaps of glute exercises, and she wanted to progress to a certain glute exercise, but when she spoke to a PT, they said, no, you can't progress to that exercise yet. You've got to get certain glute muscles stronger doing these other exercises before you'll be able to safely do that exercise. So, you know, maybe that's how it works for some. But like I said, like, I'm obviously different to Mike. And Mike, like I said, Mike was telling me he can't do some of the exercises I can, right? If he does, like, the banded side step, he was getting pain with that. So anyway, it's all different. But I just wanted to share that insight with you guys for what it's worth, okay? And I don't know if anyone's going to listen to me, but I thought, you know, for my own benefit, even just to make this video, to share this insight with myself, maybe I can look back on it. But I just think, in this situation with these labral tear issues, these hip pain issues, I think this is how I problem solve. I experiment a lot, and I'm really determined, because I can't take pain medication because I'm highly chemically sensitive. I can never have a hip replacement because I'm highly chemically sensitive, and I'm shit scared of surgery because of the high failure rate that I see. I know some people don't like me saying that, but, you know, I was on those Facebook groups reading every single post for a long time, and it's just got me really scared. And also with that injection, I wasn't encouraged. That the surgeon was willing to take a risk with my hip joint even before he got in there, like he was doing something that could be potentially damaging to the cartilage, and it just turned me off going to the surgeon for the time being. So okay, but yeah, so and like I said, I'm just so encouraged also, because, like, if you look at my MRA, my hip is in a bad way. I've got a hole in my bone at the edge of the socket. So because there's a hole in the bone, the cartilage that was overlying that bone cannot be there, is lost too. It's like literally a big missing chunk of cartilage on the edge of the socket because it hasn't got a bone to attach to. And, you know, the labrum is hanging there, the labrum is ossified, or, you know, it's turning to bone because of the pincer impingement, and, you know, and the labrum anteriorly is macerated, as the surgeon put it. So, you know, my hip's in a bad way, and just to be able to get the pain to a 1 with a hip like that. But on the MRA, apart from that focal cartilage gone and stuff, the thickness of my cartilage on both sides was the same before the MRA injection, okay? So yeah, so anyway, but sorry this is going to be such a long video, but anyway. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful and interesting, and I'll see you later.